Hey. Good evening, everybody. It's Friday. Y'all too quiet. We have a whole bunch of children on here. It's Friday. Yes. I am so excited. For this edition of Victory Talk. And so we say, what's up, y'all? Welcome to this edition of Victory Talk. We have our young people with us this evening, and we are going to dig a little deeper into a conversation that's on all of our minds for the past 2 and some years. Okay. And so I got my girl Key. What's up, Key?
Hey, everybody. Hey. Happy Friday.
Yes. And then I got my other sister, Lisa, my sister from another mister.
Good evening, everyone.
And I am so excited that you guys see that lovely face, the little lovely bright face over there in the corner. That is my biological sister, and I'm so excited to have her on this evening as well. And she kind of she didn't know that we were going to ask her anything if she dipped in, but we will talk with her when she can have a little bit to say, because my sister is an RN, and she is a awesome nurse. She is a healthcare provider. She wears so many hats. She's a mother. And y'all, although she's a grown woman, she got degrees on top of degrees and education on top of education. She is yet again in the 10th grade. And so I'm excited. So we'll get to hear from her in a little while. So before I get talking too much, I am going to allow our guests, because we have some very special guests, we are going to allow them to introduce themselves. And all I want you to do is tell us your name, tell us how old you are, and what grade you're in. And maybe even the name of your school. Yes, the name of your school. So we are going to start with our guys, because always the ladies outweigh the guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started with them. So which one of you guys want to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, come on, bruh.
Hi, I'm Mishan Noble. I'm 12 years old. I'm in 7th grade, and I go to Middleburg Middle School.
All right now. All right, you up, bruh?
Your name?
Which one?
You. Your name?
Malik.
Malik what? Malik, you got a last name?
Malik Hansen.
Oh, well, who's Shamar?
That's his other name.
Oh, okay. And Malik, how old are you?
9, and I don't even know my school yet.
Oh, okay. And what grade are you in?
Not 4th.
The 4th, and Lisa pointing to the school. What's the name of the school?
Northwood Elementary School.
All right. And we're gonna run on up there to Goose. Her nickname is Goose. But Goose, what's your real name?
My name is Kalia. I'm 9 years old. I'm in 4th grade, and I go to Seneca Elementary School.
Okay. And Kalia is a Noble as well. She is the little sister, the little big sister to Mishan. And so we're going to run on over to you, my niece.
Hi, I'm Corinne. I'm 16. I'm in the 10th grade, and I go to Lighthouse Academy. It's actually a private school.
All right. And so last but certainly not least, we're going to go to our college young lady.
Hello, my name is Ayana Wilson. I'm a freshman, and I go to Morgan State University.
And Ayana, how old are you, babe?
I'm 18.
18. And what year are you in?
A freshman.
A freshman. I think you did say that. Yes. Awesome. So we felt like it was necessary for us to talk to our youth, My sister our sister Lisa, she gave us the idea, and we was like, oh yeah, that's popping. That's really great, because we are more than 2 years since the coronavirus pandemic has come into our lives. Our nation is still coping with this and trying to recuperate and recover and learn how to live in this new normal. We have talked to healthcare workers, frontline workers, from many different areas, to the kitchen staff, to those who, are taking care of the patients on the floor, to those who are in environmental services. We have talked to business owners, some who have birthed businesses during the pandemic. We also talked to our pastor and another pastor who, not only are they pastoring their churches during this time, but, they're still working through their full-time jobs. Our pastor, he has actually moved the ministry, which has grown through the pandemic. And we've also talked to each other, because you, as our viewers, we've spent some time talking to you as well. And so we felt like that it was important that now was the time for us to talk to our youth about life before, during, and what it could even look like, what we would like for it to look like after, if there is an after, honestly. So tonight, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in it. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk to the youth. And I'm gonna give you guys the opportunity to answer without me actually calling on you. But if all y'all sit there and look at me, I'm gonna call some names out. All right. So go ahead and take yourself off of mute. Okay. So tell us what your first thoughts were when the pandemic hit, and how did it make you feel?
I can go first. So when we were told in high school that we was about to go into a 2-week basically like break, and at that time we wasn't supposed to get a spring break because of the snow and all that. So me and my friends were joking about it the whole time, honestly. And then we realized after we didn't go back them 2 weeks, we was like, oh, this is for real.
So Ayana, you said you at that point you were in high school still.
Yeah.
You were in high school still. So what was that your senior year of high school?
No, it was my junior year.
Oh wow. So during your junior year, what kind of transpired? What did you get to do that you would normally have done as a junior, and as well as for your junior and your high school years? And what didn't you get to do?
We didn't go out until like spring break. So junior year was basically, we did everything for junior year. It was senior year. We didn't get to do our prom. We got to do graduation. We couldn't do any of our senior activities or anything. And everything was straight virtual. We did like a senior parade type thing, but it was like we were driving. So that was the only thing that we actually was able to do. But we were supposed to do like a barbecue. It was supposed to be a breakfast, a award ceremony, and a couple other things we were supposed to do that we didn't get to do.
Wow. Okay. Anybody else? Tell us what your first thoughts were when the pandemic hit, and how did it make you feel?
I'll go for.
Go ahead.
To be honest, I just did not care. I don't care. I really did not care. I did not care. I did not care until I caught it.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting perspective, an honest perspective. Absolutely. Anybody else?
I can go.
So before COVID, like it was supposed to be like we were at daycare. We got a message. Miss Rain said we weren't gonna go the next 2 days, And then after that, we were like, we just go, and we started getting these packets. And this one, I like knew we weren't going back for a while.
And how did that make you feel?
It makes you feel like sad because like we can't do the things that we used to be able to do, like go to stores without masks and everywhere.
And Mishana, what types of things did you miss out on because you were in a transition year as well when everything happened, coming out of 5th grade? So what did you have to miss out on?
6th grade, my first year of middle school.
But what about 5th grade?
Oh, I missed out on, we were doing like this kind of like elementary school graduation. We transitioned to 5th grade to 6th grade, elementary school to middle school.
And you missed out on the dance and your field trip and everything, right?
Yeah, we missed out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel, Mishan?
Made me feel disappointed, but we have to stay safe, so I thought about it and I wasn't as sad anymore.
Do you feel like you missed out on, a big part of your elementary school year?
Yeah.
That elevating to the next level in life, because that's a big deal. At your age, that's monumental.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
I don't know. I think I might have been a little bit more sad because I went and sat in all those meetings, on 5th grade parent committee meetings and planning and all of that. And I was excited, and it's just like, because they were going through it, but we were kind of going through it too. I know, especially for the parents whose kids missed high school graduation and prom, and, they were buying dresses and booking, their limos and just getting prepared for all of that stuff. So
yeah.
What about you, Kalia?
I feel like it's taking over the world, and that's and then people's lives and families are not. Maybe we need to lock up again just for safety because we already missed out on so much.
Wow.
I know. That was
wow. That's all I gotta say is wow. and
shut it down.
And she's the youngest of the bunch. I think she not Kalia, where you at on my page? Yeah, okay. Yes. The difference in the 9-year-old girl and the 9-year-old boy.
Yes.
Believe it or not, there's this huge difference.
Oh, yes, sir. You are absolutely right. I wholeheartedly agree, buddy. I wholeheartedly agree. Let's hear from you, Corinne.
For me, I was coming out of middle school and going into high school. So like we couldn't have our prom. They already scheduled like not having prom. We would usually at the end of the year we would go on this trip to Emerald Isle. It would last a week. So we couldn't go to Emerald Isle my 9th grade year. We couldn't go to we couldn't go on field trips for a while. Like Fridays were like don't go to school days, so we had to stay home on Fridays. But now it's like we go on like maybe once a Friday we go on a field trip. And so it's like very difficult I know for everyone, difficult at my school because it's difficult for everyone to keep up to wear masks because everyone is around each other. Everyone's so close. Like I'm close with all my friends. I know everybody and they're like just so close. So like we wear masks not like we wear masks, but like when some of us are in the hallway, we're getting ready to go to Bible, some of us really don't wear masks. And then like when in the class, there was a time where we had to wear masks all the time in the classrooms, and the only time we had to take them off is if you're eating or drinking. And some people are cautious when they're going outside, so some people will wear their masks.
Mm-hmm.
And like the teachers say, you can take your mask off when you're outside, but when kids have their mask on outside, it's more the little kids, because I have a coming together school, so it goes from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Oh, okay. So, Corinne, tell us what your first thoughts were when the pandemic hit.
My first thoughts were, when I first saw it on news, I was like, oh, it's gonna just like be here for a couple days. Like it's gonna just be here for a couple days and like go away the next day, the next couple days. But then we got an email saying no school for 8th grade year and half of 9th grade year. That made me that didn't make me disappointed because I was already on my summer break and kind of going into 9th grade. But when I found out in the email that said you can't come into school for half of your 9th grade year, that made me like pretty upset because I'm close with my friends and I can't be in the house all day, every day, because I'll go crazy.
So I guess that kind of tells us how it made you feel. That definitely speaks to how it made you feel.
The virtual learning.
Oh, we got that. I'm sorry, that's a question, Corinne. So I'm gonna hold tight on that for one second, okay, baby. I want to chime in and get a comment or two before I move on to my next question. Kendra Meister, who was Ayana's mom, she said, I low-key wasn't sad that prom got canceled. I wasn't ready for that mania. And Miss Victoria, aka Miss Cutup, said, my oldest granddaughter missed out on prom and graduation. I was disappointed for little Michon and angry for all the kids that were missing out on activities. So that's good to get a perspective from some of the parents and grandparents as well on this.
Yeah.
And so our next question that we want to talk to you guys about is, so we know that social interaction is very important. So did COVID cause you to not be able to interact with or make new friends? And if so, how did that feel? And anybody can go first.
I'll go. So, it was pretty hard making new friends because like some people didn't even have their camera, most of the people. And you can't, and now that we're even in the building, you can't tell what they look like unless like you made their number or something so you can call them. But otherwise, you won't like know what they look like until we are able to take off our masks.
Yep, and then for you too, Michon, you missed your transition year, so you were home for 6th grade. So going into 7th grade, into the building, unless they went to your elementary school, you really didn't know a lot of people, right?
Right.
So it's been a little bit harder making new friends.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who else wants to chime in on that? How hard was it for you to be able to interact with people, and how did that make you feel?
It wasn't at all.
It didn't bother you at all, Malik? You know what? I need to be like you because you are just so chill, so calm, collected, so unbothered. We got this thing that we always want to say we're unbothered about things, but we really do be bothered. But I'm getting the vibe that you're really okay. You really chill and you're not worried about nothing, are you? I know that's right. That's the way to be. We're going to take some notes out of your book. For real. All right, who else wants to go?
For me, like virtually, like I already knew everyone in the class. So everyone would either have their camera on or they would be like laying in the bed in their pajamas. So it was okay with me. Like sometimes I didn't really want to put my camera on because I would be in my pajamas and I don't have like a bonnet on or my no, I didn't like going in it felt different because when we had to walk in, we used to check people's temperature. But for some reason they don't do that anymore. I think it's because I had COVID and my history teacher had COVID and one of my friends had COVID, so we were just all fine with it, kind of. Like we went back to our normal, silly, and weird ways right when we went back into school. Acted like everything was normal, but everything was not normal.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
I felt like wearing masks, like kind of like now, like interaction with other people. I don't really talk to anyone but my friends because it's like masks is hard to kind of talk to, and it kind of feels like it's trapping your breath and you need your breath to talk. So I don't really talk to anyone that much, and just like someone said, people in my class sometimes. One of them was like playing the drums in the middle of class at their grandparents' house.
In the middle of class?
Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump in there really quickly because we have Miss Morgan Kennedy that has joined us. She is our other guest, and we just want to give her the opportunity to introduce herself. Morgan, are you there with us?
You're muted.
Hi, yes, I'm sorry. I am still at work, but I did want to hop on. My name is Morgan Kennedy. I am a junior at the illustrious Morgan State University, currently double majoring in business marketing and health administration. I do appreciate you giving me this opportunity to be on this panel. And I will just speak to what you all are discussing, being the social life in the middle of a pandemic from a collegiate level. It is a little bit difficult in college from a social aspect to enjoy the quote unquote HBCU experience. You don't really get the little block parties, you don't get the sorority and fraternity life, and it is somewhat difficult to meet people through Zoom, but teachers have somewhat incorporated a lot of group activities that mandate you get on Zoom with your fellow classmates to complete certain assignments. So from an academic level, it's still easy to meet your classmates via Zoom, even if they're in different states, but a social aspect has kind of diminished.
Thank you, Morgan. We appreciate the fact that you are still trying to, do your job and work and still, be a part of this conversation. So, Ayana, did we miss out on you? Did you answer that question for us, Ayana?
No, I didn't.
Well, come on.
For high school, I knew everybody, so it was fine. It wasn't a drastic change, but now in college, it's a little harder because all of my classes are virtual, and then I have an apartment, so it's like I'm only interacting with the same people every single day. And then, like Morgan said, I go to Morgan too, so the block parties and all of that was like what you come to get the HBCU experience, it's not there no more. So yeah.
Now, are you guys able to do anything? Because I know it's school specific as far as what they're allowing, but have you had a homecoming? Have you had a dance? Have you had sporting events? Have you guys been able to do anything?
I do soccer like last year. We were able to do soccer. It was, I think, twice a week on Tuesdays. So we would meet outside in the field, and we were able to do soccer. We're not, because I also have a co-ed basketball team, for all boys, so we can't do boys basketball this year. I think we are having prom in May. I think we're still having prom. We don't know. We've been talking about it. We've been talking about what we're gonna wear. But I don't know yet if we're having prom. That's probably gonna come later in the month. But we're like in the spring. We'll possibly be doing spring and fall soccer. So.
One thing I would say at Corinne School was, even though they did, ninth grade year, which was last year, unlike the public schools, her small private school did go back in person, and they were able to stay in person for the whole school year. But their soccer season was severely abbreviated. You know, they played like maybe 4 games. They practiced, but again, the season ended up being, and then we didn't have a basketball season at all because the public schools or the other teams we would have been playing were still virtual and not meeting in person. I have a social butterfly, although she may not act like it right now, but she is a social butterfly. So that end of 8th grade year when they had to go virtual,
I hated it.
It's chill right now, but back then, no. And not all children are virtual learners. You know, for me, with her from a parental standpoint, I literally knew from day one that I was going to have to take her somewhere. So I partnered with another family with homeschooling to be able to take her somewhere to help, because I couldn't stay home and, you know, her navigate, you know, virtual learning.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And she sure missed them friends. She sure That was a sad puppy right there. Oh yeah, no church. At that point, there was no church outlet. There was no school outlet. There was no sports outlet. The only thing she could do, like, come on now, y'all. And a teenager, Lord, thank you, Father. Thank you.
So as you Geraldine mentioned the virtual learning aspect of it, you know, what is it like for you guys, you know, kind of like really getting into the virtual learning? Did you find, because, you know, we know that it's bouncing back and forth right now for some of you, and then some of you, like I hear Ayana say that, you know, her classes are, you know, all virtual right now, and I think Morgan said, you know, a lot of hers are as well. And I know that some Baltimore County schools have gone back to virtual learning for a few days, they say, but I know that it's still an option, and then some other counties have opted to go back virtual, and I'm sure that some other areas, just in general, overall, have gone back virtual. So, you know, what has it been like for you guys? You know, learning, you know, trying to learn and keep up, and, you know, because I know that when I remember back in school, being in the class with, you know, your peers, you kind of fed off of each other. You know, if somebody was cutting up, you were kind of cutting up. Or if somebody, you know, had the right answer and, you know, they were constantly, you know, interacting and involved, it kind of made you, you know, want to interact and involve. But when you're virtually learning, it's you and your camera And especially as you say, not a lot of your classmates, wanted to turn the camera on. And so you may not have even seen them. So what was that like, and how did it affect you guys learning, doing your virtual learning? Did you find that, you did better in school? And this is to the parents that, and those who are standing in the gap as parents, that, this is to you as well. Did they have, was it more of a struggle? Was it better? Was it harder? Was it worse? What was it like for you guys?
It was, I didn't really like it. I did better, way better in the school building because my grades started dropping because I wouldn't do as good. I would probably use the in-class materials instead of using it would be a book instead of a link.
Well, for me, my grades were right here. Right here.
Okay.
To the floor.
To-
Not the floor, to the whole entire mind.
For me, it was for a while. It was. I really didn't like it because I'm dyslexic and I can't be. It gets annoying when you have to constantly email your teachers about every question that you have, and you can't just raise your hand and say, "Oh, I need help." Instead, you have to email your teachers because I take Google Classroom and I still have to email my teachers. But at the same time, I sometimes like my work on paper instead of on a computer because it gets very difficult, and I can relate to everyone when I say virtual. It's difficult. It can be very difficult at some point.
And so you spoke of something that I don't think that any of us, those of us that, the host of the show, we hadn't really thought of. You spoke about if you have a question, and this is to all of you. You spoke about if you have a question, you have to email your teacher. Does it take the teacher some time to get back to you?
Yes, it does.
It does.
It takes when you're doing it virtually, when you're online, you can just put it in the comments asking the teacher to repeat the question or asking them a question. But when it's when you're at home, if it's the weekend and you're just working on homework, they're having family time with their families, and they couldn't get back to you until Monday morning or Tuesday morning. So it can be difficult because you need help with a certain project or a certain homework assignments, and they can't help you. And if you ask your parents to help you and if they don't understand it, then what are you to do?
I'm really glad that you touched on that, Corinne, because that is a huge issue that we had over in the Noble household, was not only trying to keep the kids focused and engaged, but it's like the teachers they didn't have a lot of time to teach the kids the material. So they were teaching for a little bit and then leaving them on their own to do a lot. And so when the kids were coming to us to ask us how to do certain things, if we didn't have the materials that they were going over, or we weren't literally sitting in the class with them, we weren't able to really help them. And I know for my husband and I, when we were home, we were working. Well, I was working. And so, I couldn't really sit in the class with them. And so from a parent standpoint, you know, the virtual learning thing was a nightmare to me.
Yeah.
Just felt like there was no disconnect. When you're in school, you have schoolwork and then you have homework. But when you were virtual, there was just no disconnect. So I feel like the load, the amount of work seemed to be so much more, you know, than it normally is. And just, I guess when kids are used to, it might be a little older for the older generation who are in college and stuff like that, because they're kind of used to doing a lot on the computers and all of that. But these guys were just starting to really, you know, use the devices and stuff. They weren't doing it a whole lot in class. They were still using a lot of paper. So I don't know if anybody else wants to. Oh, I'm sorry, we got some comments on that too. I'll let you go, baby. Let me read the comments first. Miss Victoria said, hold on. Miss Kendra said it was very difficult, especially that first year. The teachers were not actually teaching. The students had to learn on their own, and some people can't learn that way. And then she said, I feel really bad for parents with younger children who had to be more hands-on. And Miss Victoria said for the parents, she wanted to know if anyone had any struggles finding care for children while they were virtual. I don't know if is anybody on here besides me that had littles.
No, just you. Just you.
Luckily, and by the grace of God, we when everything was shut down, we were at home. So we didn't have to worry about, you know, childcare during that time. And then when stuff started to reopen, even before their daycare reopened, I was still working from home or part-time teleworking. So it worked out. But I know a lot of people that went through it and are still going through it, because with this case by case closure thing that they're doing, I feel like if they did everyone across the board again, then there would be then jobs will be more understanding of that. But by them doing only certain schools, people are struggling, you know, to figure out what they're going to do with their kids while they have to work.
So Ayana, you got quiet on us. What has it been like for you with the virtual learning?
Like what my mom said or whatever, the first couple of weeks it was hard because my teachers wasn't actually teaching. It was just us getting a lot of book work and then trying to get it done, but I wasn't understanding it. But now it's better since I'm in college, and then it's like a regular class. It's just you're virtually on there, but then we have the choice to actually go in person or virtual. So it's like basically them just recorded themselves teach a regular class, and you can ask your questions and like get your better understanding in a way. And then they have after class things, so you can ask questions if you need it. So it's good now since I'm in college.
Now, did you say that the classes virtually, are they recorded?
Yeah,
Yes,
all
some of the
classes
time.
are recorded, and then you have the option to go in person or virtual.
Oh, okay. And so with the recorded classes, and this is to you too, Morgan. So with the recorded classes, if you like have questions or need additional help, so do you have to, you know, do the email and wait for them to get back to you?
Yeah, in that case, yes.
Okay.
But if you're actually in the class, you can get your answers
Okay.
as they're teaching.
So for me, because I'm an upper level classman, everybody in my class more so is a junior or a senior, so we kind of already are accustomed to teachers delaying and professors not getting back to you in an adequate amount of time for you to get your work done. So we've become somewhat of a little pod of probably 10 or 12 people, because once you get higher up in your curriculum, everybody in your class is somebody that you already know. And 99% of the time, everybody in your class knows another upperclassman that has already taken the class. So we kind of no longer went to the professors with our questions. We started just kind of congregating amongst ourselves to figure it out, because waiting 3 to 5 business days for a response on an assignment that's due in 2 days doesn't help me when I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. Wow. That
And I will
virtual
also
learning
say,
thing. Whew.
although it was easier for college level students, although we're home, if you have any kind of grade school sibling, that became somewhat of our burden if you have a parent that had to go into work. So for me personally, I have a sister who is a junior in high school, and it was a very hard transition for her because she never had to somewhat self-teach because high school doesn't really prepare you for college, for the type of learning we have to do virtually, which is the same type of level you have to do in college. So her math homework somewhat became my math homework in addition to me working and me having my own course load. And I don't know, I'm sure the parents know this newfangled math is not the math that I learned.
Oh,
This newfangled
Lord.
English
have
is not what I've
mercy.
learned. And to teach them the way that I know apparently will get them the X or incorrect answer, even if they get the correct answer, because the work is not the proper way of this new Common Core curriculum is wrong. So I kind of had to learn 11th grade algebra as well as calculus at the same time.
Geraldine, you got something to say to that?
No.
She must be away from
Yeah,
her,
you can
her
go, you
device
can
right
answer.
now.
I'm sorry. Kalia wants to answer the virtual learning question.
Oh, yes, Kalia.
I think it's harder. I think it's harder both for both because I have now I have like a seat that's in like the back of the room next to the back table, and I can't really see past everybody, so I have to like do a little bit by myself. If I don't get it, I just have to like raise my hand, and sometimes it takes a long time for the teacher to answer because she's answering everybody else's question.
And that's even in the class. You still struggling to get your questions answered, and you're in the class.
For me, like I am not really good at math. I'm not a math person. Like before I had my math tutor, my mom was helping me, and it wasn't good on both of us. She's trying to help me. I'm not getting it. We're both getting frustrated. And my dad's not that good at math either. So me having a math tutor really helps. I meet with her on Mondays and Wednesdays sometimes in the evening so she can help me. My math teacher would assign the work Monday, and then it will be due the next day. And we would have a whole other bunch of work to do. And we were all confused because how we were supposed to get that math assignment done if we had other stuff due like maybe the next day. So for me, he extended mine to Wednesday. So I would have a whole extra day to get my math assignment done. So I can relate. The math now, it's very, very difficult. Like I have to sit for like maybe 3 hours with my math teacher trying to like, sometimes I would not ask for help because I thought I could do it. And I feel like I can do it because everyone's around me. And like, there's another girl in my class who takes notes all the time in class. And I take notes. I used to not take notes because I thought I had it all. But I don't. I don't.
Let me jump in there, Corinne. Let me jump in there, Corinne. Miss Kendra said she tried to get Ayana. Thank you. She tried to get Ayana every resource she needed because it was best for both of us to not work together. Yes, Kendra.
That's why I was laughing because the struggle is real, y'all. y'all thought y'all had it bad as kids, like we had it bad as parents. It was so frustrating, especially trying to teach kids the way that you learn and trying to teach kids without a teaching degree. I'm like, man, I don't get paid to do my job and the daggone teacher's job. This is hard.
Yeah.
I know that Geraldine is away right now, but listen, I know she was doing the whole struggle thing, and even now when we talk, she'll be like, I'm in the 10th grade, and I got homework to do, because she's helping. She's helping, her and Brother Thomas. They're helping, but I know how, difficult it is trying to help teach in a way that you weren't taught and you didn't learn. Listen, Morgan said it best.
She did.
This newfangled math and, reading and social studies, it's different than when we were in school. Absolutely. And we know that
Common Core math is the devil. I'ma say
I would absolutely love to learn math the way you guys do, because I do not like math now, because we have to repeat the same curriculum over and over each quarter.
Yeah.
And it gets very annoying at the time. It's annoying right now because I'm repeating it now. And I know that I'm not really gonna remember it next quarter. And when they ask me, do you guys remember when we learned this? And we all say no. And then the teacher asks, well, why didn't anyone take notes, or were you guys listening? And we all say, we were listening, but like it's
I guess maybe that's why they keep repeating the same curriculum every year.
There's Geraldine.
leave it to a mom to come out the woodwork.
I'm sorry, I was literally actively with my patient right there.
That's
I
okay.
couldn't really speak.
We understood. Did you want to speak to the learning and the virtual learning and what it's been like as from a parent's aspect?
Like most people have said, it's really about what is the young person's, the child's, how do they learn best? Because if they're not, first of all, like Key said, the younger kids, although they knew how to use computers, they didn't have that hands-on navigating, paying attention to what the teacher is saying in the book or on the handout, and transitioning between both from minute to minute, not even just for a class. And like Ayana said and Morgan said, when you're on in high school, doesn't teach you for that. And I've done, I went back to school and completed my bachelor's degree totally online. And you know what? If I had the time to go sit in the classroom, I'd have rather go and sit in the classroom.
Yeah.
Because any online virtual learning, yes, you are self-teaching. Yeah. You are teaching, and then you have to be able to teach yourself and then validate your learning, which I'm supposed to teach myself, and then I got to teach you back so I can prove that I learned, what I read or researched. And it is a skill that you don't really learn until you get to college level, unless, except for in this season, our youth are getting it, forced to get it at a much younger age. So I kind of try to always see the positive in things. And I frankly feel like the youth who are have had by force, had to go through elementary, part of middle school, part of high school, the end of high school, and this virtual and the midst of the pandemic are gonna be, when those elementary school students get to college, they're gonna be ready for
Yeah,
college.
yeah, they'll be definitely.
Unlike the high schoolers who went to college this year or last year, they were still learning
Right.
how to navigate college life. Our
Yes.
elementary and middle school students are being forced,
Forced.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
how to be more active in their learning, because if they don't get active in it, they're not gonna get it.
Yeah. We had a
And
comment from
parents
Cita.
too.
We had a comment from Cita Gray. She said, try having 7 children in 7 different classes for 4 different subjects, and you are 4 different schools, and you're trying to help them learn it all. That's a lot. My head, kudos to you. Yeah, I know that that's
Kudos to her for even being able to try
right.
to navigate all of that, because I know for my kids, the daycare that they were going to, you know, she had littles. And so she did the best that she could in helping them when they needed help. But, you know, when you have toddlers running around,
Yeah.
you can't really, take all that time out to be as hands-on. So yes, Cedar, we applaud you for that, honey. I don't know.
Let's talk real quick.
And,
I know, right? Let's talk real quick.
The
work. I'm sorry, Geraldine. We're gonna because we only got 7 minutes. The producer is giving us the gang signs over here in the back. So I want to talk about, how the world has been on edge with COVID for such a long time, and things are very hard right now for a lot of people as COVID continues to spread. So my question to the young people is, catching COVID something that you are concerned about, and what are you doing to try to avoid and keep yourself safe?
Can I take this one?
Yes, you may.
This might be unbelievable. I had COVID twice in 1 year.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. So are you concerned about catching? I don't know that I don't know much about the multiple catching it, but are you concerned about catching it again?
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to do to prevent having that again is sanitizing, washing hands, wear a mask. Those are the only things.
All right. What about the rest of you? Anybody else? Are you concerned about catching COVID?
I already had COVID once, and not so much about catching it again because I use my hand sanitizer, my tissues, I wear my mask all the time, and I stay away from people.
Okay. Ayana, Morgan, Corinne.
Me, because I had COVID. I'm not that concerned of catching it again. I know that with my mom a nurse, she knows what to do. She knows the medicine. She knows all that. But like, I'll put this. There's like me. I caught it because it was kind of going around. We didn't know, but it was kind of going around at school. And so I was already like having a stuffy nose. So, and then we got the email right when we got on break, winter break. We got 2 emails saying one of them saying a student at school has tested positive for COVID, and it was someone in the adolescent older program, someone in the lower elementary program as well. And then the second one was at church. someone tested positive at church, and me and my mom were at church, and we were wearing our masks. And so I didn't realize I had COVID until we went to the doctor, and I was like, oh, I don't have COVID. I'm positive I don't have COVID, because I wanted to be with my family on Christmas morning. I wasn't that excited of babysitting like cousins that much, but I was like looking forward to seeing my family that I haven't seen since my 16th birthday.
Yeah. Ayana and Morgan, what about you guys? Because I know that you being in college and, you know, having a little bit more interaction and, you know, you're working jobs and everything. What is your concern level about catching COVID?
So for me personally, even after dialing back on the brunches and no longer going to school in person, I'm 100% virtual and literally going from work to home. I don't even go to the gym anymore. I have actually had every strain of COVID. I've had COVID 4 times. So at this rate, I feel like I don't even care about catching it anymore. I'm more concerned about transmitting it to other people. Right now, I'm the caretaker of my grandmother. So I really, really try very hard to be very clean, to be very thorough with cleaning in between clients. But personally, in regard to my health, I feel like I'm fine because I've had just about every strain out there.
Now, Morgan, are you vaccinated?
I am vaccinated. The school mandated that we be vaccinated.
And you've gotten every strand?
Yes, I believe I had COVID before it even started in November. I was misdiagnosed with a chest infection, but I would wake up with my airways completely closed. And then in January, my doctor told me you probably had COVID. You probably need to be on a ventilator. And then I have had COVID 4 times since then.
Listen, this COVID thing, I've had it once, and I've just recently gotten over it. I'm much better now. I'm good. But when I was, you know, when I had it, I was telling my son I was afraid to go to sleep at night. I spent nights where I was afraid to go to sleep because I was afraid I wasn't gonna wake up. And I'm not afraid to, you know, go home to be with the Lord. I'm just not ready. It's not that I'm not, you know, spiritually ready, because, you know, we, you know, are constantly working to get ready. But my grandchildren are young. I wanna see my grandchildren's children. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't go to sleep. I was like, you know what? I'd rather sit up and just remind myself to breathe. So Geraldine, being our healthcare provider on here,
you know I'm getting ready to chime in.
Yes, and I give you 1 minute. We can't hear you, girlie.
Your hand sanitizer, yeah, but covering your disease airborne, so you can do everything right. But if your respiratory system, your nose and mouth are open and, you know, just readily, you gotta breathe. You gotta breathe the air.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a barrier between you and the air, you're just inhaling it. So if you are around somebody for more than, they say 15 minutes, to me, that's a guess. So just wear your mask.
You're breaking up, and you had some very valuable information. And so I'm just going to try to fill in the blanks of what I think that you're saying. I think that what you're...
N95, the surgical mask from whatever you may use from what they got, which is the fit. Huh? Did I lose you?
You're back now. Come on.
We're here.
Yeah, the N95 filter masks are going to be our best defense. Is it a guarantee? No, but it's the best we have right now with the Father's covering and blood covering us. Wear the mask. Like y'all governor said.
That ain't my governor. Oops.
Wow. Sorry, but you live in the state that he's the governor of.
My bad. I'm behaving. I ain't say that.
That's one thing that I like that he did say.
Wait.
Just wear the mask.
we know what he said. He said, "Where the dad blame," and I'm stretching a little bit. He said, "Wear the dad blame mask."
And if you touch the mask, use some hand sanitizer. If you needed to readjust it, use some hand sanitizer. We should have hand sanitizer hanging around our neck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If I the mask, I'm using my shirt.
No, that's not a mess.
And that
That's
doesn't
not
work.
good.
That doesn't work because
No.
a four-person
no filter. There's no barrier.
No, there's not. There are
It doesn't
kids
protect your shirt. Doesn't protect whatever is in the air from getting into your lungs.
Mhm.
All right, so y'all heard it from the nurse. Y'all heard it from the nurse. All right, Key.
All right, so I just wanted to check real quick to see if Ayana, did you want to, you could go first. Did you want to answer? Are you concerned about catching COVID at all?
Oh, I just got over having COVID, but I've been being more sanitized, I guess, in a way, like keeping the sanitizer, washing my hands, and being extra careful since I did just get over it.
And what about you, Michon?
I had COVID, so I'm kind of concerned about getting it again, but not really. I'm just using my hand sanitizer more, washing my hands throughout the day, and yeah.
Wow, that's just I feel like most of the people on this call had COVID at some point or another. And the crazy part about it is for my two, they went the whole time. I mean, through everything up until a little while, like a couple of weeks ago, before they caught it. So I guess maybe it's the newest variant that is out that they're saying is more contagious or whatever. But I can say as a parent, I am petrified. So they may not be, and I mean that's kind of good that but I'm glad that they're being careful because sometimes unfortunately we have to go through something in order for us to the red flag or the light bulb to go off and us be like, okay, I don't want to feel like that again, so let me make sure that I stay away from people, and do what I have to do. And like Kalia said, they were being careful, so I don't know how in the world it happened, wearing masks and sanitizing and steering clear from people. But maybe one of those lunch days in the cafeteria where, the kids got to take their mask down to eat. So it's quite possible that, and that's my concern. Even still is the cafeteria time. So I told them, I said, I know you can't eat through your mask, but pull it down, take a bite, put it back up, whatever it is that you got to do, because it's bad out here, y'all.
Yeah.
But we just want to say, as we wrap up, we want to say thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you to all of our guests, because it's Friday night. And I mean, I know that, well, for the older ones, they're not really
I have homework.
running around too much. Yeah. And
I have to go do homework right after this.
I love it, Corinne, because I know the last thing my kids are thinking about is some homework right now on the long weekend. So kudos to you, boo. Keep studying. But thank you guys for, giving up your Friday night a little bit of time to sit with us and talk about this. We really appreciate it. And hopefully when we go to have you guys back, I mean, I don't think this thing is going anywhere for a very long time, but hopefully we'll all be in a better place and be able to talk about, something nicer and something that we can laugh about and not have it not be so heavy.
Yes.
But thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm your girl, Q.
And Lady J and
Lisa.
We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We are signing off for Victory Talk, and we will see everybody next Friday night, same place, same time, 7 p.m. Be safe, everyone.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.